live, and on your side. This is KTBS 3 News, Texarkana.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Johnette Magner. Central Mall in Texarkana is operating under new ownership. The new ownership team says their goal is to make Central Mall a go-to destination for entertainment and shopping. They're expecting to welcome 3 more stores in the next few weeks. Felix Resnick with Fourth Dimension Properties says he became a limited partner of Central Mall in 2019 when it was owned by the Cohen Retail Investment Group. He says they have recently taken over full ownership, and the company has plans to make capital repairs, host more community events, and fill up space with more stores. With the recent shift in online buying, Resnick says they've also taken on a different approach to leasing.
We see ourselves as the incubators for new businesses. So we've had a lot of experience with folks coming in and just taking a kiosk and doing really well and then growing into an inline space and then expanding.
Fourth Dimension Properties owns 12 malls across the country, including the outlets of Little Rock. And we'll have more news right after the break. And we are now just 4 days away from the solar eclipse. Millions will likely be looking up Monday as the moon casts a shadow across the middle of the country. And it's not just a fun event, but a rare chance for scientists to try and better understand how sun activity can have major impacts on Earth communications and infrastructure. Michael Yoshida spoke with NASA about what makes this such a unique opportunity.
As millions watch the moon block out the sun, scientists across the globe will be keeping a close watch too. This eclipse allowing researchers to study the outer edges of the sun in a way they normally can't.
If you talk to the science community about this, they call the moon the perfect coronagraph because it blocks out most of the sun in just a way that allows us to look at the corona.
That's the outer atmosphere of the sun, a place scientists still have many questions about. It's where solar winds and storms come from, which when aimed at Earth can affect our upper atmosphere.
Sometimes in great ways like the northern lights, and sometimes in not so great ways like disrupting communications.
NASA will be using sounding rockets and high-altitude planes to try and better understand this solar activity. In the past, GPS, electrical grids, satellites, and more have been impacted by solar storms.
The sun's activity is ramping up.
Peter Becker, a George Mason University professor, is working with the Navy and Department of Defense to better understand how solar activities impact systems on Earth, including the internet. He says a lot of infrastructure needs to be improved to prevent what he calls an internet apocalypse.
If you take the internet down, even for a day, I think the estimates are like about $10 billion of economic damage per day in the U.S. alone.
And that is a look at your news. Your forecast is next. Have a good night.
We're in for a nice Friday across the Arklatex, and then clouds increase as we head towards the weekend, shifting towards an active weather pattern just around the time of that total solar eclipse on Monday. Now, Texarkana, you are in that path of totality. So in a second, I'm going to talk about what visibility could look like for you. But for now, I want to talk about what tonight will be like. Overnight lows getting down into the 40s. I have y'all getting down to 44 degrees, at least in Texarkana, before you rebound nicely tomorrow afternoon. Getting up to 79 degrees, just flirting with that 80-degree mark as we round out the work week. But back to that eclipse. Here's a look at the cloud cover around that time. So that red color represents low visibility, but look, as you head further north, you see that yellow and green. Green is good visibility. Yellow is medium. Now, I will say the model run has trended showing at least at some point Texarkana having some better visibility, and that's a good thing. We want to see that trend continue. Now, the important thing is the setup of a front that's creating these clouds. Overall, though, just check in every so often, and I'll let you know how that plays out as we get closer and closer to Monday. For now, it's a nice night so far, 79 out there in Texarkana. A little bit breezy still. Tomorrow, though, it'll be a great day leading up to a cloudier weekend.